On a big decision like this, I would normally just go off the rails, get the hell out of here. I get a call from one of my really good friends. These guys are doing something. He gave me a website, and I look at the website, and there's so much of the copy. Like there's 5 different things where this is absolutely them. Pretended like nothing was going on. I got to the bottom of truly understood what was going on. They were planning to do their own business. It didn't quite work out. They realized how hard it is. They were skimming warm, cold leads to refer to realtors out of our CRM and getting kickbacks there. And, it was a very deep paper trail to track.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Disruptors, where millionaires are made. Today we have Sean Grabo and Zayn White with Resva. Zayn flew in from Egypt, while Sean flew in from Columbus, Ohio, to talk about how Sean is on pace to close 300 deals this year, getting about a 5x ROI from just one marketing channel. Now, guys, I want to mission to create 100 millionaires. The information on the show alone is enough to help you become a millionaire in the next 5 to 7 years. If you'll take consistent action, you will become one. And if you're already a millionaire, we want to recognize you here. So please scan that QR code on the screen right now. And if you're not a millionaire yet and you want some help, you can also scan that same QR code. It'll give you a different opt-in there. Before we jump in, if you're here to learn how real entrepreneurs are building real empires, hit that subscribe button, because every week we're dropping lessons where you can create your first or next million. And guys, our AI lead manager is now up and running. So if you want to hear what our AI lead manager sounds like, text AI caller to the phone number 33777. Again, that's AI caller 33777. You guys ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. So been looking forward to this for a long time. We've been talking about this for a very long time. You and I, we connected at CG, I want to say 3
years ago.
Approximately. So obviously you're doing some big things between the real estate and everything else. But before we get into that, let's talk about what was your life like before you got into real estate?
Yeah. Always been an entrepreneur. School was never right for me. I think I went to college for 2 weeks total. Both times were...
Found out quick.
Yeah. So community college once. If you dropped out in the first 2 weeks, you could get your money back. So I did that once, tried a couple of years later, realized this still wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I did different fun jobs. I did whitewater rafting for probably 5 or 6 years out west, and actually ended up in Northern California doing cannabis cultivation out there. Did that for about 8 years, got really sick of it. And I had really valued my freedom as an entrepreneur and as, having my own business. So I knew whatever I did next, I had to be able to have a lot of freedom. I knew I was pretty unemployable. I had to, be able to work for myself. So, and I'd also worked really hard. So I wanted to take a break. So I took 6 months. I went and traveled out in Southeast Asia. And after a month, I started just absolutely going crazy from not working, not doing anything. And that's when I really just started geeking out on real estate, listening to as many podcasts, reading as many books. I had a mentor who I lived near out in California, and he was always in my ear about real estate and how that was something I needed to look into. So after traveling around for 6 months, I decided that I was going to move to Columbus, Ohio from California. I didn't know anybody there at all.
Columbus.
So when I was researching, I figured it would be hard to start in California, higher barrier to entry. People are hustlers out in California, and real estate prices are really expensive. So my logic was, and I didn't know anything about wholesaling. I figured I just wanted to buy a bunch of rental properties, and Columbus, Ohio made sense because there's a growing population, a lot of big companies, and then a good purchase price to what you could rent ratio. So I just, I threw the dart, it landed there, and I packed up and moved there and threw myself completely into it.
When was that?
Beginning of 2018.
Beginning of 2018. So you moved to 2018 to start your real estate journey.
Yeah.
Your mentor was in California. You guys continue, did he help you with that, or you just went all in?
He had always only done it on the side, but he really just opened me up to the idea of it. We're still friends, but he always just, very passively did it. But
got it. So what was it like starting real estate in 18 in Columbus?
It was, I feel like 2018 was a pretty good time. I always tell myself, man, if I knew now or if I knew then what I know now, it'd be incredible. But I got, obviously there's always a lot of luck involved too. I found somebody on Bigger Pockets who wanted to partner up and do wholesaling. They had been doing it for a year or two and hadn't had like a lot of success. And we partnered up and did about 50 deals our first year. And
Wow.
yeah, we clashed. Like we both wanted to run the show. And so after about a year, I decided I left the partnership and broke off and did my own thing, but it was really good. I've always been really fortunate to partner up with people who have different skill sets because I'm like really good at a few things, but I'm really bad at a lot of things. So I've always, been able to find the yin to the yang.
So you found your partner through Bigger Pockets.
Yeah, actually both of them, like my current partner and my partner for the first year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a lot of people going on partners that way. You found two of them that way.
Yeah. And geez, hired a couple different acquisition guys through the years from doing like some posts back in the day there.
That's fascinating. Again, like I've never heard anyone like building their business through Bigger Pockets. Not to say anything to disrespect for or like down on it, just haven't heard that direction.
Yeah, I guess it just, I think it's people who are, I've always had the best luck with people, working with people who are really value education and are just kind of hustlers. And so I think that's kind of been the connection is people would look, I posted when I was thinking of moving to Columbus and first moved there, I was really like interactive on the forums trying to, figure out Columbus. So people would see those posts and reach out to me.
I see. 50 deals in your first year is remarkable.
Yeah.
And you're saying if you know then what you know now, well, 50 is pretty good for your first year. Like you just knock it out of the park from the beginning.
I mean, back then we were getting like a 2% response rate on our mail. I think, it's like 1/10 of that now. It's, I've always been really good with sales. And then I've like I had somebody who was really good on all the back end stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So then like you knew right away, like this was it.
Oh yeah. Right. Like all consuming, like once I found wholesaling, because I always looked down on wholesaling, or I just didn't like when I was doing my research, like for the first 6 months, I was like, that's not what I really want to do. But I don't know what else I'm going to, like, it'll at least get my foot in the door. And then like, I realized like wholesaling is like, you learn the entire business so much. And other thing is I've always been like different relationships and friendships. And if you're the person getting the deals, like everybody wants to be your friend or, so it was really good to build like my network and, not knowing anybody, I really only get engaged with real estate people there.
Doesn't surprise me to hear that you weren't excited about wholesaling because if you came from the Bigger Pockets world, like it's just kind of this weird thing. They're not as bad as realtors, but they kind of have this deal where like, look down a little bit.
For sure.
On wholesaling. Okay. So you knock it out of the park, but partnership didn't last. What were you guys clashing about?
We both, we both wanted to run the show. So there was definitely some egos involved. And then different styles. Like I'm incredibly risk tolerant and he was very risk adverse. He was like an attorney by trade.
Oh,
yeah. So, a natural deal killer.
We shouldn't do this deal. No, we should pass on this.
Yeah. Oh, we only sent mail because everything else like, oh no, we can't do that. But yeah, it was just, like I really valued the partnership, learned a lot. It didn't end horribly, but it was definitely, I just recognized that it wasn't going to work long term.
Yeah. So you said, hey, you just keep my half of the company. I'm going to go do something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So then that was the next year?
Yeah.
All right. So then how was 2019?
So it was, we had hired one person that first year and we both kind of fought over who was going to get that person. I was lucky enough that he continued to work with me and he's very much that back. He's my partner today and he's very much operations person. Right. So he filled that seat. And then, we were just doing we were really focusing on the sales process. We were doing different marketing where they would do the mail for you. They would do everything, kind of all in one marketing service. And we just hit sales super hard. And I think one thing that was a huge advantage starting off too was I only focused on wholesaling. Like I wanted to buy rentals. I wanted to do flips. I fought that urge to chase the shiny objects and go in a bunch of different directions. And we did nothing but wholesale for the first 3 years. So we got really good at the sales and marketing.
Got it.
Didn't really try to dabble into anything else.
Did you say you hired an all-in-one marketing company?
Yeah.
The one company handled all of the marketing.
Yeah. They did all the data aggregation, all of the mail. Yeah, they got the phone stirring.
Got it. So kind of like an agency of sorts.
Yeah.
Got it. Would you still recommend someone doing that today?
It worked for us. It's like I've seen I've seen marketing get tougher and tougher as more and more people have entered into the game. So I could see definitely there are advantages to both. I guess it probably depends on, I'm not a natural, like you need a lot of attention to detail and a lot of skills that I don't necessarily have. It allowed me to just focus on sales and then slowly building a team. So it worked for me, but I think it would kind of depend on what somebody's natural skill set is.
I see. Okay. So how'd you do like compared to your first year in your second year? Like you got Noah, he's running ops.
Yeah. Pretty much every year we've been able to, like at least with revenue, grow like, between 20 and 40%. So it's been pretty consistent. I would guess probably around after the first year, we started doing outbound marketing. So we've always done mail, but we started doing a good amount of texting and cold calling. Ringless voicemails were big back in the day. And PPC started working on our digital brand. And we just kind of very naturally, grew from probably 2 people to 3 people to 6 people to 10 people. And it was pretty steady throughout the years.
So having that steady growth, what would you attribute like that steady growth? Because there's been ups and downs, right? So what would you attribute like the steady growth to?
Yeah. I think for one, we never got really dependent on the hedge fund. Which was a mistake. We walked out, we missed out on a ton of money back in the day by not.
We did too.
Yeah. But to that advantage was I saw a lot of people who were completely dependent on those hedge funds. And, we always just focused on nothing but, buying on a deep discount. So it was an advantage, I think, in the long run. But yeah, what kind of sustained that over time? I think it's, a lot of it's my partner, Noah. He's, just like Zayn is on the VA company, just very steady, very systems and operations driven. And then, able to balance me out and kind of, be a little bit much from time to time, but rein me in and having a lot of respect to where, push and pull on each other and challenge each other to usually kind of meet in the middle. Yeah.
So you said something interesting there. Like you can always grow revenue. That wasn't the hard part. What was the hard part?
The hard part, not doing too much risky stuff, man. Not draining the bank account, not, just going out, trying to do too much too fast.
So let's talk about it. Like, what are some of the things you did that you grew to, that were not beneficial to the company?
Yeah. Okay. So back in probably 2022, I had a really good acquisition guy who had told me from the beginning he wanted to go off and do his own thing. And I was really sad to lose him. And I wanted to partner with him. So we decided to go, we didn't want to compete against us in Columbus. And we went and did virtual. And, because a lot of people are talking about it. It's easy. Florida's a great market. So we went down to Tampa in 2022. And then what was even worse was the first deal we got was an absolute home run. So we're like, oh man, this is easy. And, we probably broke even or maybe lost a little bit over a year, but it was opportunity cost. It was a distraction. It took us away. And it taught me a really good lesson, to just not take what you have for granted. There's always, whether you want to chase multifamily or development, it all looks really good, but if you got the golden goose or, don't take what you have for granted. And I definitely learned that when we started to go too big. And then, I think in 2022 or 2021, when when the little bit of the boom and bust happened, we were overstaffed. That was actually when I really started working with virtual assistants a lot, because we had like 8 or 10 people in the office, and me and Noah kind of saw the writing on the wall. We saw other people going out of business. We saw things were really challenging, and we were bloated. So it was really difficult, but we let go. I think probably out of the 10 people we had, like 6 people. We went down to 4. We got super lean. We meet every Saturday and talk just like, fun stuff, not deal related, just kind of, BS about like how we're going to grow the company. And it was always our favorite meetings, like my favorite 3 hours of the week. No, just me and Noah. Like we go to coffee, like a couple different coffee shops, hang out, and just like really laid back and mellow. And over the course of like 2 months, like we started to dread these, because we know we were going to have to deal with all these
demons.
Oh man, it was tough. And it was like, okay, like 1 week we just wrote out a plan. Like we're spending, let's say $90K a month right now. And we're like, we got to get this down to 40. And just like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We'll do that next week. We'll do that next. And then just 1 week, it was like, okay, man, you got to do this. I got to do that. And, for the greater good of everything, we're going to have to restructure this thing. And once again, it was, a huge learning experience, because at the time it was bad and it felt like, a failure to, lay off over half of the company. But, it was just this really good lesson to be careful about, like we always have that in the back of the head, like back of our head, like you don't want to have to lay people off again, or, we need to keep we need to keep that emergency fund fat, or else we could get ourselves into trouble again. So,
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I was talking to someone the other day. It's like the saddest thing for me is at this point in my career, it's like I'm really good at firing people. Like it's the worst part.
And then everyone wants you to do it. It's like, oh, Steve will take care of it, right?
Yeah, it's like man, like it's because you carry all this responsibility.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's like, well, you hire all these people. Eventually, you also have to fire some of them too.
I was just, I'm really big on Founders Podcast. Our friend Brandon in Austin turned me on to it nonstop, and they're doing one on Elon Musk recently. And his big thing is, his theory is to not become friends with the people you work with, because that emotion gets, involved. And I don't necessarily, I'm not trying to go to Mars, so I don't have to follow that too closely, but I thought it was a really interesting perspective.
One of the big lessons I took from him, though, was you've got to cut so much where it hurts.
Yeah.
And then rehire the people where like, okay, we should not let that person go.
If
on a regular basis, like cut too much versus like, what happens if we cut it? Like cut too much and then rehire.
If you're not deleting enough, too much, then you're not deleting enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like we're not there yet, but it's a great lesson. So that was the first thing you were saying, that if you could do it again, don't get too bloated.
Yeah.
Don't get to Tampa with a partner. Go
deep, not wide. That was one of the best pieces of advice I got really early on. Is I was talking to a mentor early on, and I was like, we're going to go to Cleveland. We're going to go to Cincinnati. Like, dude, you're in Columbus. Like, go deeper, not wider. Like, I made that mistake. So yeah, I always try to keep that in my head.
What were other things that you learned where it wasn't hard, where it was hard, it made it harder? Because even, again, you were growing revenue, but you weren't growing the bottom line. So what were other things you did? And this is like if everyone else is paying attention, like there's some valuable lessons here.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Like in those exact experiences or, yeah, I think those are the two that stand out. Yeah.
Okay. And somewhere along the way, you got involved with Sharper.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty early on, like about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got involved with Sharper. And then, so you were mentioning something, you got to work with your very first quarterly, you got to meet with Brian?
One of our first, it was probably a couple of years in, but one thing I love about Sharper is you can rotate coaches and get different perspectives. And so we started working with Brian Snyder.
And then how was that helpful for you guys?
Well, he's a phenomenal operator. Like I say, I love Sharper because I can talk to each coach has a different skill set. And
different skill set, different set of experience,
100%.
perspective.
Yeah. And one thing I loved about Brian is he was an operator and he had sat in the seat he was sitting in the seat at the same time, making the same decisions we were needing to make.
Yeah.
So that perspective was super powerful. That was my favorite thing about working with Brian.
But then he took something away from it.
Yeah. So he did one quarterly with us. And then he came back to Columbus 3 months later and we were going through, our KPIs for the quarter. And he had saw that our outbound marketing had really gotten much better than the previous quarter. And we started talking about that. And I told him how me and Zayn had been working together. Zayn used to be a lead manager at my company and he was always in my ear like, dude, let me take over the cold call. Because I was using a third party at the time and I'd used a few other third party cold calling companies and I was actually happy with this one. And I was like, dude, no, if it's not broke, let's, we don't need to fix it. But he was always in my ear. And I eventually was like, okay, Zayn, here, we have 10 callers, take 2 of them. Prove it to me that, you can outperform these guys. And within 6 weeks, starting from scratch, he started to, caller per caller, started getting better results. So at that point, I was all in. We turned all of our outbound marketing to Zayn. And that was during that quarter that Brian came back and he saw that our marketing channel had just blown up. We were doing almost twice as well.
Got it. And then he came away with a decision there.
Yeah, he was like, man, would you guys do this? Because Brian was the operator of another pretty big wholesale company. And he asked, will you guys do this for our company? And I was like, my natural instinct was to say no. It's I go deeper. Not I don't want to try something else. This real estate wholesaling company is amazing. And there's a lot of people that depend on it. But, Zayn always being in my ear, seeing that we had the results, seeing what an amazing operator Zayn was, and then knowing that Zayn would kill me if somebody asked to bring more people on, and I said no. We started doing it with Brian a little over 3 years ago.
Got it. So, how long were you in his ear about letting you run lead management?
Yeah, I think it took around a good 6 months. So starting off, some of it was a bit of bullshitting and throwing out the use, but the last 3 months is where it got really serious. And I was telling Sean there's something that we could do here and it's going to be much better. Because again, I was inside of Sean's system, seeing the leads, seeing how their process, seeing everything going on. I just knew that there is a much better way to.
What were you seeing that gave you this confidence?
So a lot of the leads being sent is not focused on quality. A lot of them are window shoppers, people who don't have real motivation, people that if you go into the call recording and listen to it, you just hear someone reading off a script. They're not really giving their all into the call, understanding the pain points and the motivation of the homeowner and submitting a qualified lead out there.
So you're saying basically the company that you liked before, their VAs, were having conversations with homeowners, passing them along, but in your perspective, they weren't as engaged. It was their business. They were kind of doing a job.
Yep, exactly.
And then just pushing those leads over.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So then at this point, were you more or less a virtual assistant on Sean's company, or were you a consultant? Where were you?
Yes, so I was a virtual assistant at Sean's company at that point. And even before that, I've been in the call center industry for over 7 years right now. And I've been on the operations side before getting into Sean's business as a lead manager. And on the operations side, it's always something I've noticed with call center companies. So overall is people are just there as a stepping stone or, to make a quick buck, but they're not focused as a career. We're not here to grow a career. It's just something I've always wanted to change and show people that it can become a career. And then I've transitioned to become a lead manager. And I knew that this was my opportunity and chance to make that happen.
Got it. So you saw people treating this as a 9 to 5.
Yep.
And you saw an opportunity for someone to build a career as a VA.
Yep, exactly.
Working at a company, working for you guys, what was the vision there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Steve, I did start as a cold caller myself, and right now I run this company with over 300 people in it. And I think the biggest things is you can make a career out of it working in a call center.
Mhm.
Call center doesn't have to be a 9 to 5 where you just go in, especially within the real estate realm. You can go into sales, you can go into operations, you can build an entire career out of it. And that was the vision of Resva.
Got it.
I've definitely like seen it happen. So like Zayn, when Zayn left, he started sending his like best friends and really good people from college, like over as our lead managers. Zayn was an engineer, so like over half of I'd say probably 70% of our Egyptian staff on my real estate company are engineers. But that was about 3 years ago where he started plugging lead managers into my company. And now like our sales manager who manages our in-person acquisition guys, he's Zane's best friend from college, and he's phenomenal sales manager.
Yeah.
Our dispo guy is one of Zane's best friends who like started off as a lead manager with us. And I've used recruiting services because I thought our dispo guy had to be in Columbus and build the relationships. And I was like after our guy Mo beat out the second guy, I was like, okay, I'm wrong. Like you can do this over there. And we have somebody from marketing. One of our lead managers recently, like we're focusing super hard on floor closures and just really dialing in on every single lead. And it was a lead manager who's just incredibly smart. We turned this whole project over to him, and now he knows foreclosure and probate law better than anybody on our team probably combined. So it's been this huge stepping stone, like where if you get really good talent, you create a really good culture, you put a lot of respect out there. I've seen just people rise. Like I always go to our sales manager where he was engineer in Egypt, first year engineer in Egypt, makes like $5 to $8 grand a year. So like $2 an hour. And he started with us, and then became lead manager, like $6 an hour, $8 an hour. And then he became an acquisition guy. And now he's managing like our entire sales team. That's about 15 people.
Wow. So you were an engineer.
Yep. I've always wanted to study engineering. Probably second year in university, I realized that's not really what I wanted to. But I appreciated the way they make me think and process things. So I did my education.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I got my bachelor's degree.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. You get your bachelor's degree. Then you go work for this guy. Or you work in call centers, and then you work for this guy.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So you're in his ear. After 3 months, he finally relents.
Yep.
Gives you a shot. What did you change in the company that led to this big lift?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I did is just work on culture, and starting with, we just started with 2 people to begin with, and then 6 weeks in, it became 5 people. Just working with these people, understanding, explaining to them the potential of real estate and how they can grow and where they can become in a year, or maybe a year and a half, depends on the time, and really explaining real estate to them really well. When you generate a lead, it's not just a lead that you're generating. You're making a lead manager, an acquisition, a disposition. A lot of people after you are working this lead just because you generated it. They felt important, and you could hear it in the calls. They're giving it their all in. They're trying to do everything they can. And I think that's what the biggest difference was between the leads that Sean used to receive and the ones that he did receive after I started.
So the biggest shift then is really just the attitude, or the not demonstrating, but conveying care in the conversation. Yeah,
that's one of the biggest things, especially Steve, cold calling is very hard. You get people hanging up on you all day. You get people cussing you out. And when people have that attitude, they're just prone to have a better conversation, generate better leads. That was the one that had the biggest impact. There was other stuff as well, like focusing on quality and motivation. Like when we're cold calling a lead, we don't just want to read a script and collect information and push a lead. We really want to understand why the homeowner wants to sell. Does he really wants to sell, or he's just entertaining because maybe he'll hear a good offer, and getting that motivation out of the homeowner and sending it over to Sean's company.
So did the script change?
A little bit. So what we try to do is even with scripts, it is not just a script that you follow from A to Z. There are some items in there that are keywords. For motivation instance, it is not just that you ask about motivation, but you try to go on different directions of like, for instance, one easy thing, you look at Zillow, you see if the house has just, been recently bought or if the homeowner has had it for 10, 15 years. Really simple thing. You can say like, I see you've had the house for a really long time. What made you want to sell right now? Is there anything with the neighborhood? Are you looking to move? So simple stuff like that did some changes in the script, and then making some keywords rather than sentences to follow.
Got it. Okay. So you take over the role and then outbound business doubles? What was the...
It was close, yeah. It was probably from 3x to 6x, or it was pretty drastic.
Got it. And so the key difference is we removed the previous VA company, bring in Zayn, and Zayn's in charge of it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference.
100%.
Okay. Where did you guys go after that?
Well, that's when we started working with Brian in Indianapolis. And then after that, we had the proof of concept. It was working well for us. It was working well for them. I've always, I've been in different masterminds over the years. I have a pretty good network of people. I knew a lot of people who were doing cold calling, and I just kind of started working within my network and, offering to do this for other people. And it just kind of snowballed. We've been around for a little over 3 years. We just started doing marketing for the first time. We've gotten up to 100 clients, almost with zero marketing, but just word of mouth and putting a good product out there. It just started snowballing.
You talked about staying focused, right? Don't stretch yourself too thin.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you had some reluctance to add this because this could potentially be a distraction.
100%.
What did you do to safeguard to make sure this wasn't a distraction in case it didn't go well?
Yeah.
I guess we'll start there.
Yeah.
If you're a real estate investor with a sales team and you're stuck babysitting reps instead of growing your business, this is for you. Right now, your reps are burning through your expensive leads like they're practice dummies. They're making costly mistakes you won't catch for weeks, and 70% of your potential revenue is walking to competitors because of inconsistent follow-up. That's why over 130 operators are now using objectionproof.ai to automatically review every single call within minutes, train reps with AI roleplay sessions, and never miss another follow-up. Stop watching your competitors pull ahead while you're trapped doing manager work. Click the link in the description and book a call with my team to see how we can help you install a self-managing sales team this week.
Yeah. A cold calling company is extremely operation heavy. For each cold caller, there's people in the data department, quality assurance, customer service. There's so many supporting staff. That is not the type, that is not what I'm good at. So, but Zayn is a phenomenal operator and very good with systems and process. Zayn runs the company. I do, level 10 meetings. Me and Zayn meet for a couple hours every weekend. I like to get in with the sales and the marketing, but I probably spend 5 to 10 hours a week on it. And I just focus on, sales, marketing, kind of vision and leadership. So I defined my role really well. And then I just put a ton of trust into Zayn. And, that's how we've done it, I believe. What do you think?
Yeah, and Steve, reflecting on that, I think one of the things we've done, and I wasn't happy with it for the first year. I wanted to explore to other niches, different niches. I was like, hey, let's do solar, let's do roofing, let's try a lot of stuff. We're a call center. We've done really good at real estate. And Sean has done a really good job of hey, we're really good at real estate. Let's focus at it. Let's just do it. And I believe this has made us much better in the real estate. And up until now, we only do real estate. We've just started potentially looking at other stuff very recently.
But even within that, we would do property management for a couple people, or we would just do kind of general admin. And it was always just this headache. And so we recognized really early on, no, we are going to be the very best at outbound marketing, cold calling, and lead managers, and we're not going to touch anything else.
Mhm.
Like once we feel like we cannot do any better, okay, let's talk about it. But
Right.
we just stayed really laser focused.
Got it. So this is the second time you mentioned that you have your meetings on the weekends.
Yeah.
What is the story with having meetings on the weekends?
And I'm a little bit of a workaholic, and it's so it's just 2 meetings. It's one with Noah and one with Zayn, and it's like
On the weekends.
yeah. I mean, nobody else is working on the weekends, man. That's where that's opportunity to get ahead.
Mhm.
It's I mean, I love what I do. Like, I'm passionate about both companies. I love entrepreneurship, and I love to jump on. Me and Zayn meet Sunday mornings. Me and Noah meet Saturday mornings.
Oh, they're not even on the same day.
No. 7 days a week, right? No, but it's, I'm a morning person. It's when my brain works best. And, it's what I love to do. It's not every single weekend, but it's most weekends. And it's like what keeps me sane, man.
When did you guys know like you had something? Was it when Brian came along? Was it when other people came? Like, when did you know, like, okay, we have something special here?
I think that was around 6 months in, and that was right around the time.
Like 40 people or something.
We've had 40 people. A lot of people. Sean was reaching out to a lot of people in his network, and a lot of people was hearing more. I was like, we really want to try this,
Mhm.
and that's when we knew, wow, that's a really good thing, and it's gonna grow really big, and started putting a lot more effort and time and energy into growing it.
Yeah, when we started getting feedback from people that it wasn't just us, that like people with a good sales process, they were closing deals.
Mhm. Got it. What separates you guys from everyone else? Because like, there's a lot out there. Not only are there a lot, there are a lot in Egypt.
For sure.
100% true. Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is quality over quantity. We just focus so much on quality. Outbound marketing is already exhausts the sales team that's working on it. It requires a lot of follow-up. It requires a lot of time and effort to follow up with leads. And we just give you a smaller amount of more qualified leads and buy back some time for your sales team. I think that's one big thing. Another thing, with Sean being a real estate investor and me being an operator, seeing a lot of people, a lot of real estate investors working across different markets, different systems, different processes, we are able to identify issues beyond cold calling. So sometimes real estate investors will not be seeing ROI, will come to us. We'll look at the reports and what's happening and identify if there's a data problem, identify if there's a sales process problem, and tell them that's where you should look, and here's some recommendations you can do. And the third thing that a lot of clients value a lot is data protection. Leads are exclusive to our clients. A lot of companies in the market, they have 2 clients working in one market. There's shared leads. We never do that. Leads are exclusive, and it's backed up by reports and call logs and systems that clients can actually go in there, and that's true, and it is exclusive to them.
Yeah, I've had that experience.
Oh,
So have
yeah.
I. That was actually that was actually part of the reason I started working with Zayn too.
Yeah, I was like, these other appointments you're giving me, that's not from my list.
Yep.
Right? They're like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like, okay, but it's not from my list.
Yeah.
It's like, where are your appointments? Like, oh, we got to wait for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to add to that, though, I think like one huge thing is, this company was started out of a need for my real estate company to do things better. So like, I'm very demanding of, vendors and different people who market or do marketing for us. And I'm a very difficult client. And so and then not only that, like my reputation like was built around this company. So I have just very high expectations that things are going to be done the right way. And then like we're very detail oriented within our marketing department. And, we have 2 different marketing people meeting with Resva like every week to, like, why aren't we doing this? Or could we try this? My company's constantly the guinea pig to try, like different things with data. I know data, like Zayn and the team have invested a lot of time on how we work through people's data. Like if a call ends with a voicemail or answering machine, how often do we call them back? If they answer and it's the right person, but they're just not there right now, how often do we call them back? And they could talk a lot more about that, but it's a lot of that back end stuff where it's not just a caller, it's that whole support team that goes behind it. And then just to throw one more thing is our customer service. Like we're very big, like we want clients to get on and tell us what's working, what's not working. Like if they share their KPIs with us, we try to dive deep and really do everything we can to help our clients and then have our supporting staff really understand the real estate market.
Got it. Going back to the other question, because we're gonna spend some time talking about customer service.
Oh yeah.
Going back to the other question, why are there so many call centers in Egypt?
Yeah, Steve, if I'm being honest, there's a very low barrier to entry in that. And a lot of, I'm in the market, we've done a research and we found over 75 call centers, some of them having a really small amount of people, 10, 15 callers. And it's usually someone who's worked in the real estate industry or for a little bit.
Mhm.
They meet a client, hey, let's run cold calling in-house for me, similar to what happened here.
Mhm.
I think the biggest difference that happens, a lot of people start running for the client and they don't know how to scale right. They don't know how to put systems and processes. They don't have the leadership or business skills required to do it correctly and take it to the next level, or even the real estate knowledge and expertise. And I think that's one of the big reasons that sets us apart.
I think, I got one. Like, why are there so many cold calling companies in Egypt? Like, Egyptians are sharks, man. They're like, like natural negotiators. I worked with like a lot of people get virtual assistants in the Philippines. And a lot of times, like, this is a very generalized statement, but a lot of times, like, people in the Philippines are amazing with customer service and they're more kind of conflict avoidant, where people, like, I've been to Egypt 10 times probably in the last 4 years, and everything in Egypt from a gallon of gas to a loaf of bread is negotiated. It's a natural sales culture. Once again, that's a generalization, but man, it's true. And then another thing is, Egypt has 100 million people and it's a very educated society. So they really value education. So you get a lot of just extra, and like I said, a first year doctor or engineer makes like $5,000 to $8,000 a year. That just blew my mind. So, there's a lot of amazing talent. And I think they're just naturally geared towards sales from my experience.
Walk me through the buying gas experience.
Buying gas experience, it is.
It depends where you are. If you're in the country, you can just like buy some jugs on the side of the road.
Yeah, it is. It depends where you are a lot. But if you're in a Dahab, it's a really nice city out in Sinai. You don't just go in there and pump. Usually there is someone who pumps gas for you in Egypt, but you don't just let them pump. You get off the road, you talk to them about the gas, you talk to them about the prices, you talk to them like, hey, what's going on here? This is an entire experience. And believe it or not, in some cities, you can literally negotiate the gas price, get an extra bucket for a different price. Some meters are not working in certain cities, and you can negotiate that price. A lot of people that come out from the States to Egypt to us are just blown away with that nature. I remember a story where, Austin always tells me, blown his mind away. They were buying a towel from a shop, and he wanted to buy the towel. The guy said, price equivalent to $10. And he had 2 Egyptians with him. They pulled 2 chairs, put it down, and lit a cigarette with the owner. I was like, no, we're not doing it for $10. And yeah, he keeps mentioning that story over and over. But it's like Sean said,
it's a game.
It is.
Yeah. So I just can't imagine. So like we're talking about like I'm gonna get 2 or 3 buckets of gas.
Yeah.
For this amount of money, is this a negotiation?
In some cities, yes.
Like I can understand, like, hey, look, I see that the loaf of bread is for $2.50, but I'll do $1.50. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can't picture.
Yeah.
All right, Zayn, look, I understand you want, I don't know, like what it is per liter over there.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah, in Upper Egypt and an area called Sinai, which is Peninsula, you can definitely as well negotiate gas prices. Usually the gas stations over there are insane, and that's not like city Egypt, but gas stations over there are a little bit insane. Meters are not working, and you can definitely negotiate with them on it.
On the flip side of that, then, if you're a tourist, then
Yeah.
would it be fair to say then it's easy to get ripped off if you're not paying attention?
I would recommend when you visit Egypt, you call an Egyptian friend to be around with you.
So someone to keep an eye out for you.
Yep, exactly.
Got it. All right. Makes total sense. Before we continue, hey guys, comment below your biggest takeaway so far. If there's anything you'd like to see more of, less of, please let us know. I am personally reviewing every single comment. So, even if you just share your biggest takeaway below, we would appreciate that. So, all right. So, after 6 months, you got 40 clients, like this is a thing. So at this point, then you started the company or the company's already existed?
Companies already existed, but that's when we started investing, I think, a lot into the back-end infrastructure and looking.
Yeah, I think one of the and this was a big challenge for us as well that we've learned from is 6 months in, a lot of people were showing interest. We're seeing deals telling Sean, hey, we want to sign up, and we just added a bunch of people, and our systems lagged that expansion. We had a lot of people. We were really happy about the revenue. And even the bottom line, we're making a lot of money, but our systems couldn't support that amount of clients at that time.
What does that mean? They couldn't support?
So right now, for each caller, we have 1.5 supporting staff. So if you have 10 callers, we have 15 people supporting these callers.
Wow, really?
Yep. That ensures that we're able to supply the quality we want to and just an overall amazing service. And back then, we just kept adding callers without having qualified people to do team leading, to do quality, become auditors, to become trainers. And we lacked some processes that needed enhancement. And we've gotten to a point where we're like, Sean, we need to slow down and stop adding people a little bit and work on the infrastructure.
Wow. Okay. And then a couple different things. So I'm looking at the notes here. So it's a very low turnover rate.
Yep.
11%. What is the importance of 11% turnover rate?
So our industry standard for call centers is more around 30 to 35%. Us being at 11% just shows how strong of a culture the company has, and people are not just looking at it as a gig, but they're actually staying to grow their career further.
So the people that work there.
Yep.
So the turnover is 30 to 35% of most call centers.
Yep.
The people, like 1/3, are going to quit every year.
Exactly.
Okay. So you got 11%.
Yep.
How are you guys doing that? I mean, I've heard you say career, but what are you guys doing intentionally to retain your people?
It starts from the first day that people step in the company, from the training. So the first day is about setting expectations and just showing people that this is going to be different from any cold calling job you've had previously. It doesn't matter if you've been cold calling for 2 years or you've never been cold calling before, you go through our training. And on that day, we just show them the company with the 13 different departments in it, how each department contribute to make sure that helps our clients. And we explain to them the entire real estate industry from beginning to close, how as a cold caller they have the impact of generating a lead and helping real estate investors win. And we show them different roadmaps that they can go through as a cold caller. We show them, hey, if you really value sales and you want to learn sales, you can become a lead manager. You join our company, you get trained on real estate, you understand it, we score your leads, you get to a certain quality of calls, and then you go through our lead managing training program and become a lead manager. If you want to become an operation person, we have a lot of operations. Like I've said, 1.5 staff for each caller, and this is the roadmap to it. And you can work as a team leader, as running teams, as managing a huge part of the company, and we even give them examples through the people in our org chart.
Got it. And then you guys have generated 100,000 leads.
Yep.
A lot of freaking leads.
Yes.
Zayn's an animal, man.
It's a lot of leads. So do you guys handle then the customer provides the data?
Yeah, they can. Or we can provide.
There's kind of three different scenarios. One is like, if people are super dialed in with their data and they do that. We love it when people like take the time to understand their data and provide it to us. We have a couple really good relationships with certain data companies where they recommend us, and then we actually work with their data company to like report metrics back every month so that we can help the client get a better list through reporting with their data provider. And then we also do data and skip tracing for clients if they want more of a turnkey solution.
Got it. Yeah, because I think I've talked to Felipe with 80/20.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. They send you guys
Yeah.
my business.
Yeah. We work really well with them.
Yeah. So then the part I want to talk about is the customer service part. So, we've rolled out our AI service, right? It was a newer thing, and now it's doing really well. And the things you're talking about are really helpful because I know I'm going to run into these challenges. But customer service, we had a girl who started yesterday.
Okay.
And her job is customer service because we've been doing it, right? But like we've all like kind of stretched.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're onboarding, I don't know, I think at least a client every single day now.
Nice.
Right. And so with that, like customer service is going to suffer.
Yeah.
It is.
What have you guys done? Because we have a mutual coach, Amanda Dean.
Yeah.
Right. So I hear good things on that side. I'm in Collective Genius. I'm in Boardroom. So we have a lot of mutual colleagues. They all say great things. And again, like Felipe, right? I know he's said to me personally, like, hey, like, we recommend these guys all the time. What are you guys doing to make sure you guys have an excellent customer service experience?
I'm filming this video for the man himself, Mr. Ian Ross. The guy crushes. The guy's the best person in sales I've ever seen. I've invested elsewhere and I haven't got the same results. I've gone from being a seller, making 5K a month, to being a hybrid role, making 11K a month, to now be 4 months down the line from 5K to on a closing opportunity, inbound, full calendar, with the best opportunity, the best offer in my space. OTE is around 20K a month from month 2. So I've gone from 5K to 20K. If that's not a return on your investment, I don't know what is, man. If you're a salesperson and you don't invest in sales training, you're gonna get left behind because your job is to be better at sales. And sales training directly makes you more money.
If you like what you just heard and would like similar types of success, text CLOSE to 33777. And we'll see if you qualify to join Objection-Proof Selling. We're taking good sales reps and we're making them objection-proof.
It's evolved a lot. It did not start off great. I'll let Zayn,
were there some bad stories? Let's hit the bad stories first and then what we did to fix it.
We just didn't put the time into it or value it. And another thing is we had clients reach out when there was a problem. We're very proactive. Like, hey, can we get something on your schedule? Just like 10 minutes. Let's just go over things. We've been more proactive and obviously sometimes like it's on autopilot. People don't want to. People are super busy, but we've structured the meetings a lot more. But yeah, when it was once again, like I know how important customer service is because I've, used a lot of vendors over the years where they promise you one thing and you get something else. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of blame you when things aren't like when you're not getting the results. So as I've used different vendors over the years, I've always really valued vendors who have high customer service. It really just cares. So I think that's like the big thing. And like we get a lot of amazing feedback is that we really care. Like we'll go above and beyond, but.
Yep, absolutely. And like you mentioned, one of these bad stories in our early days, a client reaches out, says, hey, I'm having a problem with this. And then we look into it and, oh, okay, you need that. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Why haven't you reached out and told me that you need that? So we've changed that perspective. Over the last 2 years, we've been just working a lot on it. One of the biggest and important things I see is for the customer service, not to only understand our product very well, but understand the client's business very well as well, and is able to offer insights and sometimes talk beyond our product. And then, with real estate investors, a lot of the time, like Sean said, they're on autopilot. They don't even want to talk. We don't take that. There needs to be at least one check-in a week. Even if that check-in is a text, it's like, hey, everything going okay? Do you need to hop on a call? Client says, no, everything's well. That's fine. one of the most important aspects as well is two-way reporting. And in order for this to work, it's a two-way street. We can't just do the cold calling and you let it run. We need to know from you what's happening, what's going on. Do we need to adjust something? So right now in our onboarding calls, we tell clients, these are the reports you receive from us, and here's what they mean. These are the reports that we need to receive from you. And we've seen that clients that supply us with these reports have much more success with us and grow with us much more.
I got one for you, Steve. You want the bad story? It just popped into my head. So, before we were as proactive, I remember getting a screenshot, and it was somebody who had written out this just horrible message into the CG Facebook group. And he's like, I want all of my money back, or I'm pressing send. Red alert. And, it's, we weren't getting with people enough to understand, what their problems were. And we, it got to the point where, real estate investors, a lot of them are impatient, and some of our, at least me, I'm pretty emotional. So, but it was 100%. It taught us a lesson. Like we let him get to the point where he was that upset. Like if we would have been, shooting a text once a week, or, hey, you're, we're seeing this on your account. Like, can we help? It definitely made us be more proactive.
I can say for sure, if you look at the PI, predictive index, our colleagues, our avatar, you probably also, the C is all the way to the left, which is the impatient.
Yeah. Off the chart. Right.
And the E is all the way to the left, which is very emotional.
Yeah.
So impatient and emotional.
Yeah.
Is a challenging client.
Challenging for customer service, right?
Yes. And so, so to your point, like what you said, adding this additional bit by being proactive, I took for granted. So I've been using Zapier, I want to say since 2013, 2016, right? I'm grandfathered into this amazing price that you can't get today, right? Like I have I think 50,000 zaps a month, whereas everyone else is 750, right? Because like I said, I've been using it way before it was this big thing.
Yeah.
So I just take for granted everyone has Zapier.
Yeah.
So I was to plug in our API tool or AI tool, all you got to do is just set up this webhook in Zapier, right?
Yep.
And I didn't realize there are still people out there that don't have Zapier accounts, right? So that was the first thing. And second, I thought there's someone on your team that can just copy the screenshot of how to set up the Zap.
Yeah.
That is not a safe assumption.
Yeah.
So A, everyone's got Zapier accounts. That's not a safe assumption. B, they can just copy the screenshot of a Zap.
Yeah.
That's not a safe assumption.
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've learned that in the last couple of months, right? Some frustrations from clients.
Yeah. We've had that exact same thing, and we ended up doing it for them. It's like, okay, don't worry about the integration. We'll do it for you.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to that point. You solved a different problem, or you mentioned you do something different. So as a service provider, I've been doing coaching since 2019.
Nice.
Right. A problem that's gotten worse over the years is letting our clients know what we offer, what we do, right? We had, for example, we talk about the AI lead manager. That program's out now, right? And we have, at this point, over 100 people. I think we're 130 something, clients in our world. But even at 100 clients, when we rolled out the AI lead manager deal, we did a whole webinar and everything. And our clients were opting in to book a call, to get sold, to buy this lead manager program. And I told my team, cancel those appointments. It's already included. They have this tool already. Now, thankfully, they were willing to pay more to get the tool, but it's already built in. We've said, hey, if you're in the program, you're already grandfathered in. But that really highlights, in this day and age, between the text bombardment, the cold calling, the emails, Facebook, Instagram, they've tuned us out. So I can't even hey, Sean, just so you know, we also offer this now. It's included at no additional charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you guys seem to have created a way to connect and make sure you stay in front of your clients.
Yep.
What have you done to intentionally make sure? Because like once a week, like man, if we can connect with our clients once a week, that's huge. What are you guys doing to stay in front of your clients at least once a week?
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes down to just having a built-in process that, not only ensures the customer success rep is doing it, but forces them to. So, we use HubSpot. Inside of HubSpot, it has a client, and weekly, each CS rep has to clear off that task that he's checked in with the client and say the output of that check-in. It starts by reaching out by email, requesting, let's book a call, let's hop on a call, see what's going on, see what's happening. They don't do that. We call them, hey, everything going okay? They don't respond. We just send a text, and even if it's just a text, everything's good, perfect.
I think another thing too is just like from the very beginning, like being really thorough with onboarding. Zayn's put together this just like really amazing playbook of this is how you work outbound leads. This is a lot of the processes that have worked really well for my company over the years. And, giving them this playbook and this guide and just really in-depth onboarding right from the start, it shows them the value. Like, okay, if I make time to connect with these guys, it's not going to be wasted time. Like it's, they're going to just by setting the expectation from the beginning and showing them that like, we're going to make it worth their time to at least check in with us. I think that's been huge and something we've gotten better with.
And once they get looped into that and they do checkups consistently and send us the reports, they do see the value and they never want to miss it. They're like, asking for it, sending us the results. Hey, what do you guys think about this? Hey, how can I improve this? So once they start that loop, they just get hooked into it because they see the value.
Yeah, and that's something that I think is incredibly valuable because like we in our tool tell you like, what we think you should be doing and so on.
Yep.
But we can get the report back, like here are the conversations that turned into revenue. Here's how much revenue it turned into. Now we have a tighter feedback loop. It's like, hey, like here's what's working for these other clients when they do this, this, and this. And a sales process, sales conversation, right? Because like what we have right now is like, it's what makes sense to us, is what we've trained on.
Yeah.
Right. We've trained thousands of salespeople on it. But we've never tied it back to closing the loop.
Yep.
We can close a loop, quality of the data improves dramatically. We've reviewed like 250,000 calls, right, in the last few months. But we could say like, here are the ones that actually turned into revenue. Here are the best practices on the one that closes.
Yeah.
Or like, here are the teams that close the highest. Here's what they're doing consistently. That would be valuable data for everyone.
Yep.
I saw you're doing that like with the competition between the teams, and that's getting people bought in. I'm sure.
I'm excited about that.
I was excited to see that.
So, okay, now turning back to what you guys have built out, feeding back to the real estate team because you're the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're like Tim Ferriss here. Like,
100%.
we're going to try all these things and then we're going to see what works, what doesn't work.
Yep. And Steve, Sean's one of the hardest clients to deal with.
I was going to say, I'm going to complain about it.
He's definitely one of the hardest, but it teaches us a lot and gets us to the next point since we're trying a lot of new stuff with him.
What are some things he's doing that makes him a difficult client?
One of the first things that pops to my mind is Sean and his team always wants to split test 10 different things. And it is just, sometimes it feels like it's too much. And I'm like, hey guys, we need to dial it back and split test one thing at a time. But it turns, a lot of the good things comes out of it. But another thing that Sean and his team is always on, like he mentioned, on top of the vendor. They always want better results, more results. Hey, this is going great. How can we make it even better? Hey, we've got 5x ROI. How can we push to 6? How can we push to 7? Let's experiment with this. And it makes it tough to the customer success team. It makes it tough on the company since, the campaign is going really well. Why do you want to try and make changes? But on the other hand, it does add a lot of value. And that's why we let the team do that together. All the time and continue try to making it better.
Well, it makes everyone else better.
Yeah, exactly. And that, everything that works, we take it and implement it across the board.
Yeah.
I was going to say it also helps that, we've hired all of Zayn's really good friends that it's really easy to get in his ear. But I know like we've been, we collaborate on stuff. Like we do a ton of outbound marketing and we do a lot of mail and we're just really dialed in on data. Like we use 80/20, we pull a bunch of our own data. we get data every way we can. And as like, we've seen a huge opportunity over the last year to understand it way better and go way deeper on it. And we collaborate. So we can pool resources. Like on the Resva side, we have an engineering team that can pull reports and do stuff with the dialers that other teams can't do. That helps us monitor how data is performing. And so we can get the really smart people from Resva and the really smart people in the marketing department of my company and, pool resources together. I think that's been really big over the last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk about what your company looks like today then, right? Because on pace, you said you closed 190 so far?
Yeah, so far this year.
Yeah. So let's see. That's almost 30, right? Like 25.
Yeah,
Like
25
a month, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing right now to do 25 deals a month?
Man, we had a huge breakthrough back in March. We had a couple sales guys who had been with us for 2 to 3 years. Really close with them. There was like some funny business. A long story short, there's some funny business going on the side. And we made a really difficult decision because these guys, last 2024, we had three act guys, and they brought in like 70% of the business, 80% of the business. But we let them go, and we got really lucky. We had somebody who was really experienced come in. Then we had got somebody a couple months later, and we got some new blood into the acquisition guys, and like they just raised the bar.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot better with hiring. Like we've made some really amazing hiring and internal promotions. It's funny, there over the years, like I've implemented a lot of what Gary and Sharper has told me to do, but
Finally?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. The last time Gary came in and did our quarterly, I always ask Gary to be brutally honest, which he's really good at. And at one point he's like, he's comparing me to, Phil Green. And he's like, if you would have listened to me like Phil would be, you'd be there right now. Like, just like rip me apart in front of the entire team. I was like, yeah, you're right, Gary. It's like, I mean, I wish I've learned to not question and just listen. But with hiring, I've like being very emotional. We've started really following a process. Like I'm involved in it, but it's not only dependent on me. Like sometimes people would come in, I'd be like, oh, this guy's a winner. Let's go. And so now it's like, I can have that conversation, but I'm going to put it like my sales manager is going to do, a complete like scoring matrix and weigh all of these different things. And obviously we're going to not just look at PI, we're going to really like, analyze it.
Well, I'm going to hit a couple things here.
Yeah.
Right. You did a really good job with Noah.
For sure.
And you did a really good job with Zayn.
100%.
So you've nailed it.
For sure.
Twice.
Yeah.
But on the other side too, like, you also think these people are going to be winners when they're complete flops.
Yeah.
And I've done that too.
For sure.
Multiple times. Like, oh, I like this person's going to make it. And man, like that never works out that way.
Yeah.
So actually, our process now is a little bit different. Is like we have to do the PI, we got to do Working Genius, we got to do the screening. We use our role-playing bot, right, for screening.
Okay, yeah. Oh, nice.
And then our sales manager does the initial interview, but then we can't hire them now until Summer and my team, who you interacted with, you both met.
Yeah.
Has to like just watch the interview on Fathom. It's like yes or no, because she can sense things that us guys can't sense. We can't sense it, right? And then the last thing is and then at that point I can say yes or no.
Yeah.
But if I start off like, yeah, let's hire this guy, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Especially because when the CEO says like, hey, hire this person, like they want to argue with you and fight with you. But also like, do I want to stick my neck out and challenge you on this one?
Yeah.
Right.
But having a process that gets followed every time gets like helps limit that emotion, because some emotion's good and you want it to like weigh in there. But if you just have a process and you don't break it.
So talk to me about this funny business.
Oh man. All right.
Because again, like these are, we're talking about like the wins.
Absolutely.
But also like, what did we learn from the failures?
So it was business always slows down in the fall. Quarter four is always slow. Things were slowing down last quarter. These acquisition guys had just been with us for a long time. They were comfortable, and so fast forward like to March, I get a call from one of my really good friends, and he tells me that I heard it through the grapevine. These guys are doing something. I didn't believe it. I laughed. I was like,
There's
no way. And he gave me a website, and I look at the website, and there's so much of the copy, copy is like things that we say. It's like, oh wow, there's 5 different things where it's like, man, this is absolutely them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lesson I've learned is, like I say, I'm pretty emotional, and on a big decision like this, I would normally just go off the rails and get the hell out of here. But this is huge. Like these guys brought in most of our business last year. I slowed myself down. I really dug deep over the next 6 weeks. I pretended like nothing was going on. I got to the bottom of truly understood what was going on. I got somebody in place. But long story long is they were planning to do their own business. They had all these plans to do it. It didn't quite work out. But part of the reason we slowed down is because they were putting their energy into this, and they were checking out. And so they realized how hard it is, came back to okay, we're going to do this. But they were skimming warm, cold leads to refer to realtors out of our CRM and getting kickbacks there. And, it was a very easy paper trail to track. By slowing myself down, not over emotionally reacting, I was able to properly prepare for it.
And all that. Yeah.
But,
with you being so hands-on on the lead management side, I don't know how hands-on you are today, but being involved in it, can you guys tell, do you guys hold the acquisition managers accountable? What's that relationship like?
No, so for lead managers, it's they're a little bit. They work with acquisitions. They push leads to them. They see what's going on. With lead managers, some lead managers, if they're digging really deep to the leads of the acquisitions they're doing, they could see something, but that's not typical. That usually doesn't typically happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, all right. So hiring better.
Yeah.
Letting the wrong people or getting the wrong people out.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your hiring process then. What is your hiring process?
Well, sometimes it starts off with me meeting somebody and be like, oh, this is a guy, 100%. Oh, dude, he's a maverick. Oh no, he's going to be sales. But at that point, I hand him off to our sales manager. Our sales manager has, a full process, where he's going to do role playing. He's going to grade them on 10 or 15 different things. We're going to get other people. We're going to, one thing I've been doing lately, or, just bringing other people in, like you were saying too, having more decision makers in, having them come to the office, how they interact with people. But, I honestly, it's mostly the sales manager. And I think that's a good thing is I can find the people, or I can find the candidates, and then I pass them off, and I have, somebody I really trust who's process oriented, who's going to, make that decision. And it's good. It's tough. I'm a sales guy to let go of sales management and then to let go of hiring. But just, having faith in the team that even if they make a mistake, they're going to learn from it. And I thought I was a good manager. And then I started working with really good managers. I was like, oh man, I'm trash. Having trust in high level people who've been with the company a long time and trusting them.
Yeah. And a tool that's amazing for hiring as well that we've been using recently, other than assessments, is having a skill matrix and filling all candidates under each other for them. And you get to rate each one against the other on each different skill. It just makes it.
Which skills are you measuring for a skill matrix?
It depends on what hire you want to do. Each hire will have different skills, but it goes all the way from soft skills to technical skills. Like we've recently been looking to hire, for instance, in Resva, a CTO, and we've wanted someone who's built a product from end to end, someone who understands certain languages, someone who's managed engineers successfully before. really good in conflict management, because engineering and business team are always fighting consistently, and we want someone to limit that. So
Good luck with that conflict management.
yeah, it's been tough.
We have conflicts, like in the, let's see, our business we started 18 years ago, more than 18 years ago. I'm trying to think of like all like the conflicts we've had here. Like people get upset, they get angry,
Yep.
right? And they might walk out of a meeting. But there's not a lot of yelling.
Mm.
When I was at Intel, the conflicts, there's a lot of ego, a lot of like, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not like, help me understand.
Wow.
It's like, you're wrong. Here's why you're wrong. And it's like,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
so that's how I used to argue. Fix that. Anything else you would attribute like to the big win?
Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, so with marketing, me and Noah used to probably put 5-10 hours a week into marketing, and never had a dedicated person. About a year and a half ago, one of our lead managers, who is another college friend or good friend of Zayn's, we recognized through PI, like he's a really good lead manager, but it's not his natural ability. He's very analytical. He's a perfectionist. We moved him into the marketing department.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We hired another person into the marketing department, and just started like, right now we're doing fractional CMO with Brandon, just super focused on marketing right now. We're bringing like mail and PPC in-house. So putting so much emphasis on the last year and a half on, we know we've always been really strong with sales, but how can we get more qualified leads? Like that's the thing I've just been really obnoxious with. Like, I don't have 30 qualified leads this week. Why aren't we on, 22 appointments? Like what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
But putting a way heavier emphasis on that and investing time and resources there.
Yeah, I think having someone who's just dedicated for just marketing, you don't hear a lot of teams that have that. Even I think fractional CMOs is like a newer thing, right? We're seeing it, for other organizations.
Yeah.
But you generally have an operations person. You have a sales manager, ops manager, sales manager, someone does the bookkeeping. But marketing is kind of like we do it,
Yeah.
but it's not like a dedicated person. I mean, you guys have a lot of clients. Like, would you guys agree?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually have a marketing person.
We have 2 of them. Yeah.
2 marketing.
yeah.
So that's a very strong distinction.
Yeah.
I think to separate you guys from everybody else.
And a
Yeah.
fractional CMO too.
Yeah. And a fractional CMO.
We're going a little overboard, but it's that important to us right now.
Well, maybe we can see the results though.
Yeah. And I mean, we spend almost 6 figures a month on marketing. Like, to think that we were spending, like, even a year and a half ago, maybe we were spending 60, and we're putting 5 or 10 hours a week into that kind of spend. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah. So being a better steward of your capital.
Yeah. And like one thing I didn't really expect this was our marketing person, marketing and sales kind of clash, but in a healthy way. Like our marketing person, she's listening to calls, being like, why isn't this a qual? Like, if I'm hounding her for 30, 40 qualified leads a week, she's going to start listening to the calls and challenging things within the sales process. So just getting, a different perspective. Like one of our big things is, a qualified lead is either price or good price or motivation. Well, what does that really mean? Like this person has motivation. Why isn't it a qualified lead? And having her do lead reviews every week with the sales manager has been this thing that I didn't even know would come from it.
So that's a massive nugget. For everyone that's listening, that's a huge, huge nugget because that's when I knew I had the right CMO in my organization, right? And he wasn't a CMO yet. He was like a contractor. I was like, once this started happening, I was like, yeah, maybe you should be full-time for just us. Was that he just was listening to sales calls. He's like, we're not getting results. And he was compensated off of revenue.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I'm not getting paid enough.
Yeah.
This is not working. I need to figure out what it is. And so he just started listening to calls. Like, give me the calls.
Yeah.
Give me the logins. You have to give him access to Fathom, create his own account, admin access. All right, go listen to as many calls as you want. But that's when I knew I had the right guy.
Yeah. I think it's building a culture where people challenge stuff. And even if it's not their department, like like I love having multiple people in our level 10s, like more and more people, because I want them to understand the entire business. And even if it's not their niche or their specialty, they're going to challenge it, and or they're going to bring a different perspective to it.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest lessons I took from Stu Junior, right? And he does 15,000,
Yeah.
5,000 wholesale deals a year, whatever, right? Was that everyone in the leadership department is just like challenging everyone else,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't hide,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's accountable to everyone else. There's no exceptions. No one's above being held accountable, and that's what I'm hearing. Like that's what you're doing now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your mix of like deals, like your closings, right? There's a lot of deals, particularly in a competitive market.
Yeah.
Like I look at Columbus. It's like the other Phoenix, right? You got Michael Smith, Tommy Har, Tiffany High. Austin's there too.
Oh, he's not. He's doing other stuff.
Other stuff?
Residential stuff.
Esteban with EYE Homes.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
You know him.
Yeah. Of course.
Right. Like, so you got all these guys out there.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing right now as far as like a mix to do this many deals?
Different marketing channels. We've expanded. So we used to just go in like our core county. We started doing surround, like maybe I always like to use like a radius from downtown Columbus. It used to be about 20 miles. Now it's like 40 miles, maybe 50 miles. So we're going a little bit further out while still not leaving, it's still driving. We're still in-person appointments. I think it's just one thing I've really learned the last year, 2-3 years, as we've gone from like 10 people to right now we have like 32 people or so between project. We have a pretty big rental portfolio we manage in-house, and project management is all. But throughout all of that, it's a company that's we're all I'm a pretty laid back person. I don't like corporate kind of feel. When you're like 8 or 10 people, you can get away with that. When you get to like 20, 30 people, it's like, it just used to be a running joke, HR, Luke's HR for the day. But like those things, proper onboarding, just running things this isn't like a little, it's going from like a small business to like more of like just more company, more structure. There are things I don't like about it, but just recognizing how necessary that is. But investing in coaching, investing in masterminds, investing in relationships, being reputable, having knowing that people want to work with you, or you might not always get along with everybody all the time, but like even people who you compete with and might not like you, they respect you. So I think building that reputation is huge.
What are your top 3 or 5 like lead sources right now for closings?
So cold calling, texting, mail, PPC. We've really been working on our digital brand. We neglected that for a long time, but pretty much it. I mean, we haven't done TV, but that was we did like 3 years ago, and it felt like we were just burning money. I think next year, once we get everything else, as we're getting everything in marketing tightened up, I think we'll probably do that next year. But PPC has been really, really tough for us personally. So I say cold calling, texting, and mail.
What's a digital brand?
Just, like our Facebook page, having, we've always been we've always invested super hard in like our Google, our business, and our reviews. But using that more, also like Facebook ads and just trying other things, but putting more effort. Like it's always kind of been neglected, but being more intentional about how people in general see us as a company, especially as we get ready to probably go into TV, making sure that we have a unified brand, and message and feeling across like all of those channels. Cause a lot of times they might not, you can't directly attribute it to PPC or SEO or mail. It's a combination of stuff. And the more you can have that like unified brand, that's going to work better. So that's kind of what I mean with the digital marketing, digital brand.
What have we not talked about that everyone should be paying attention to?
I think something we've talked about, just hitting on it again, is like Sean said, as they grow, just systems and processes in place and turning more from a pretty laid back company to just a system and process that's followed every single time is just very, very important to scaling, both within CCS and even bigger at Resva. We've even went further than that, where not only we have a process and system for everything that's running, but we are always challenging these processes and systems. We've constructed an R&D team. That's their job. They just understand the entire business. They're always looking at these processes. What could go wrong? How can we do it better? What are we tracking? What could we track more? How can we improve it? And the more you do that, the easier it is to scale and get bigger without dropping your quality or, getting more numbers.
Yeah. And I just want to highlight, so we highlighted Sharper.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the things that we're doing together, right?
Yeah.
Sharper Business Solutions. So we have mutual consultants, Collective Genius,
Yep.
Mastermind, we're in together.
Amazing group of people.
Amazing group.
Yeah. That's getting in rooms where you're challenged, where like you're the small fish in the big pond, or you can see people who are doing things 5-10 times bigger than you is just so incredibly motivating.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then boardroom also.
Yeah.
So like you're surrounding yourself constantly with the best minds, nonstop.
Average of the people you hang out around the most,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So moving on here. Actually, before you move on, if someone wants to like find out more about Resva, like how do they find out more about Resva?
Yep.
Yeah.
They could go to resva.com. It has a lot of information. We have also we have link just for people coming from the podcast. We have special offering for them if they want to know more about Resva.
What's that?
We usually have setup fees. We'll completely waive setup fees from anyone coming from the Disruptors Podcast,
Which is normally like $500 to $1,000.
Yep, $500 to $1,000 depending on the service.
We also don't do any contracts or anything like that. So people get in there and it's not it's not a good fit. There's no commitment, and waive the setup fees, put our money where our mouth is.
That's huge. Now everyone does that. So that's big. So resva.com, resva.com, mention Disruptors and get your setup fee waived.
100%.
Awesome. So now looking at what you guys are doing now, how does your business look like today than it did before you went down this venture with starting your VA partnership?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing is I've made a lot of amazing, at the end of the day, I love hanging out with people, and I love the opportunities that real estate have given me, the freedom. And I love getting to give those same opportunities to other people. So working with Zayn and the other people, in Egypt, we have probably 16 people in our real estate company who are based in Egypt, 300 people on the Resva. I go there. I'll go there. I've been 3 times this year. Love going to the office, hanging out with everybody. Travel's huge to me. I'm somebody who's just really passionate about world travel. Every year the real estate investment company has been around. We've done an international trip. So we've gone to Thailand, we've gone to Egypt, we've gone to Spain, we've gone to Costa Rica. That's been one huge thing, is just the relationships. And
How's your life changed going from being his lead manager to where you are today?
It has changed a lot. One of the biggest things that's important for me is being able to influence people and pave opportunities for them. Sean has helped do that for me, and I'm able to do that for a lot of people right now. There is someone in our team that is on his way to start his own thing with our help as well. A lot of people we get that feedback a lot from training and from people in our companies, hey guys, we joined to become a cold caller and we see an entire career. We're very proud of where we are. We've learned a lot of new skills, and being able to do that is just impeccable and makes me feel amazing and gives purpose to my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you want to be remembered?
How do I want to be remembered? So that's a really good question. One of the things I want to be remembered, similar to what I just mentioned, is honestly that I've been able to give people opportunities, and I see myself doing that long term. Even with Resva, long term is it opens up doors for a lot of different opportunities for different people, and just being able to help people with that and let them show their path. And I wish for people to remember that I was easygoing and help them seize an opportunity that changed their lives.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I'm going to go more selfish, and I want to say I want to be remembered as somebody who lived life to the full extent and like no regrets. So I'm very much like experiences over possessions, and I want to maintain that for the rest of my life, man.
Got it. What's your superpower?
Ooh, I would say leadership, but I still have so much. I feel weird saying that because in the big scheme of things, like I have so much to learn and so much room to improve. But yeah, and maybe that's why too, because I'm passionate about getting better at it.
Yeah, makes sense.
For me, I think it's talent acquisition, being able to spot where a person would fit really good and just building systems that would be able to, have a lot of people work under without being broken.
Yeah, got it. And then what failure have you learned your most valuable lesson from?
What failure have I learned the most valuable lesson from? I think one of the lessons that I've learned in the first year is not letting go. I've had this idea that I need to do everything myself. My hands has to be in everything so it gets done correctly. Someone screws something up and it's done to my standards. Okay, I'll just step in and fix it and make it correct. And that limited scaling a lot. And it was hard for me to start letting go and delegating and empowering people and trusting them to do it. So, someone screws something up, instead of me stepping in and fixing it, explaining to them why it got screwed up, how it should be done next time. And not only that, identifying why it happened and putting a process in place so that it never happens for that person or any person they end up having under them eventually. Yeah. And once I've let go and started trusting and empowering people, it's been a game changer for me.
Yeah, that makes total sense. How about yourself?
Biggest failure?
Failure that you learned the biggest, best lesson from?
When I was probably like in my 20s, I had, made a good amount of money a few times and lost it all. And it was devastating at the time, but it built up that, risk tolerance. Like, okay, I can repeat that. Like I've done it once, I've done it a second time, I can do it again. And I'm going to take way more chances. And I think that's just given me a lot of confidence in the business world.
Yeah. So going back to zero twice.
At least, yeah.
At least that's helped you learn that lesson that you can do it.
100%.
Yeah. I think that's huge. I think that is something that a lot of people wish they had that knowledge, right? Like they think they can do it, but the fact that you've done it gives you that confidence. Like, we can do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then last thoughts you guys want to leave all the listeners with? I'll start with you, Zayn.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to tell a lot of people, if they do want to get into real estate investing, or if they're doing real estate investing and want to scale, that with marketing channels, whether it's cold calling, texting that we're doing, or any other marketing channel, there's a lot of things beyond the vendor's control and ability for it to succeed. It's a two-way road, and they should be focusing on all different aspects, starting from data, the vendor himself, and the marketing channel, and the sales process. They master these three, they got a winning campaign on any kind of marketing channel.
Yeah. Yep. How about yourself?
I say surround yourself around successful, good people. I am the Jim Rohn. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out around the most. I think that's huge. we were talking about, the different groups we're in, and, be around people who inspire you, and it's going to rub off on you.
Yeah. I mean, it's said many times, but it's still true.
It's one of those things that it's so cliche, but it's cliche because it's true.
Exactly. All right. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Coming
Steve,
on.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next
Shout
time.
out to Steve Train. Jump on the Steve Train. Disruptors.